Hey guys, it's Mr. V here to do a book review today for The Dark Tower, Book 6, Song of Susannah. You can see right there, The Dark Tower. Before I get started, you guys should know that I do a spoiler-free book review, which is why if you see me looking down occasionally, it's just so I have some notes so I don't give away any spoilers, or if they are, they're minor spoilers. And today I will give away some minor spoilers, but I will say it before I give away the spoiler. So again, Dark Tower, Book 6, Song of Susannah. If you guys are already at this point, you guys obviously like the book, the series, The Dark Tower. You guys have read the first 5 books. So right off the bat, you guys should know this book starts right where book 5 stops. Like in the book 5, it ends with Susannah / Mia going to the cave, getting through the door, all of that. And the book 5 just starts, or book 6 starts out right where Roland, Eddie, Jake, they're all wondering, how are we going to find Susannah? So that's exactly what it is, and I can't give away any more without giving away a spoiler. I'll just go quickly about what I like and then what I dislike. You guys will see my rating at the end. So one of the things that I found was really cool about the book, and Stephen King has done this many times, is where he talks about the time travel element. And I like when he does that, as it's like, he's done it with multiverse before, but he's also the time travel. Whereas like in this book, and I'll be giving a minor spoiler right now, is the Susannah travels to the year 1999. And if you guys remember, when she got pulled in, she was pulled in from the year 1964. So things have changed a lot since 1964 to 1999. Like clothes, the music, technology, because of how much technology there was. And, I always love those time travel elements because of how different things can be in that time frame. Even if you went back 20 years from now, it's like they didn't have phones like we do now, the smartphones that we do now. So like how crazy it is. So those are always elements that I like, and he does it in a great way. And a great way he did it was when she was checking into a hotel. Susannah was very shocked when the woman was checking her in on the computer, and Susannah said, "Oh, look at that! It's a TV attached to a typewriter." Sorry, she thought that. Didn't say it, but it was like she found that so impressive because in 1964, that was what it was like. So, those elements I always find super cool, and I find that, and they did it a few times in the book, so that stuff is very cool. And the more is revealed about Roland and about the Crimson King. While it is not a necessity, by no means is this a necessity. You do learn something big in this book that is revealed in Insomnia. It is implied or hinted about in this book, so you kind of know it's a pretty big implication. But if you read Insomnia, you know what they will reveal. It's a humongous thing about Roland and the Crimson King. So it's just about both. Now, another, not major spoiler, but I would say mid-level spoiler would be the next part is you find out in this book there is an accusation that by Mia saying that Roland is 20% demon. She tells Susannah Roland is 20% demon. And when I read that, it just was like such a craziness in my head because it was so fun. Because then all of a sudden I was thinking things like, if Roland's a demon, 20% demon, is he actually evil? Like you pictured Roland as, even though he's the rough guy, he's the good guy. He's trying to fight for people. He's trying to help. But then you start to wonder, maybe he's not that good. Maybe he is that demon. But then you also go back to, well, maybe Mia's lying. And, and it's just that back and forth. And that's just in my mind. And I just, as soon as you read that, that's why I said as a fun element. A lot more is expounded upon and explained, which I cannot say without revealing spoilers, but it is just a very fun element that he added to the book, because that just throws a big twist, and it's just like twist your mind when you even hear that. So that was really cool. Now, one thing that isn't and it's never a necessity, but you guys should probably want to know who Randall Flagg is and know him pretty well. Randall Flagg, he came in book 4. He was at the very end of book 4, The Dark Tower 4, but he is also the main character in The Stand. And while you don't need to read The Stand to know Randall Flagg, because they describe him more here, they describe him in book 4, they describe him even more here, but if you have read The Stand and knowing Randall Flagg, it like is even crazier. I said that in my book 4 review, and it's the same here. It's so much crazier if you already know who he is. Again, it's not a necessity to go and read The Stand. I would recommend The Stand just as a standalone novel because that's one of my favorite books. But knowing who Randall Flagg is really helps in the story. And even though there is many links to other books as well. If you guys are reading The Dark Tower, I assume you guys are Stephen King fans and have read some of his other books. Maybe this is your first journey. I have no idea, but you can see links to so many other books. And it's like, I'm probably forgetting some of the books, but some of the links that I saw to these other books are like Eyes of the Dragon, Insomnia, Hearts in Atlantis, Salem's Lot, The Stand, Dark Tower, book 1 through 5, as he goes, or as they talk about things that happened in book 2 or book 3 or book 4. They talk about all these things. So it's like, it's really cool, like when they're talking about Balazar again, things like that. So there are links to all the different books, and it's really cool. Again, it's not a necessity. You don't need to, guys, don't need to go out and get all his books because you can enjoy the Dark Tower just reading it book 1 through 7. But I know there is an expanded version. That's the version I'm doing right now, where all these books link and you can start to see it, and it is a really fun element. But again, not a necessity. So, some of the things, though, I did not like about the book. One of the things, it was revealed at the end of book 5, is I don't like the Salem's Lot aspect. What I mean by that is, at the end of book 5, when they were helping Calvin Tower pull his books in and hide them, Callahan picks up Salem's Lot by Stephen King and is like, that's my story, and he knows all this stuff. I just don't like that element. Even when I read it in book 5, I was like, at the end, I was like, I just don't like it. I know, I assume, when I was reading it, I assumed he was doing like some kind of multiverse and, all that, because we've seen so many crazy things go on in the Dark Tower series. But it's like, I just don't like they're like, who is this Stephen King guy? And in part of the book, they're like, we got to find Stephen King as well. Because who is he? What is this? A Salem's Lot? And it's like, that's my story. And I just do not like that element. I know there are people who do like it, that probably find it really cool. And, I haven't read book 7 yet, so maybe he'll loop it back around and it will be amazing. But for the time being, I just thought, like, yeah, I just really don't like that element. I just think it's just, he could have done some other things. Based on how creative he is and how he's done so far, he could have even had Salem's Lot written by somebody else. I don't know why. But he doesn't even need to do that. I think he could have thought of something else. So I didn't like that. And the other part was, I thought it had an odd end. And it's an odd end in like an odd final chapter. The last paragraph was definitely really cool, but overall I thought it was a very odd end. It was just, it didn't fit the book well. That's, again, it's my opinion. It didn't fit the book well. But the last paragraph just like blows your mind, and then it makes you want to go on to the next one. It's like, wow, that, okay, you definitely want to go on to the next book. But I would say, for it to blow your mind, you need to have some history about his books, type of thing. I know that can sound confusing, but some of you out there will know what I mean. But it's like, you need to have some history about his books. If not, it will just be a very odd end. But that's one thing I did not like about the book, was it did have an odd end for what it was. But it's probably because you can tell this is a transition book. This is definitely a transition book, where it's almost like, this is a novel, and so this is a big novel, but it's almost like the prologue to book 7. I haven't even read book 7, but it's almost like that prologue to book 7, because you could tell it's a transition, that they are setting it up for book 7. So they're setting it for the final book. And you can definitely see that. But you know what? It makes you want to continue. So it does make you want to continue. It's not like it wants you to be like, oh, this sucks and stop. It is great. The last thing I should say before I give my rating is that a lot of the book is focused around Susannah, Mia, Detta. It's around them. It's basically around Susannah, based off the title of the book. But it's based around them a lot. And I'm not saying that's a bad element. You just should know that, because all the other books have been based off of Roland, around him. For this one, a lot of it's not the other characters aren't there. The other characters still play a big role. But this one, a lot of it is based on Susannah and Mia and Detta. So you should know that. And that one thing I really don't know is, I don't know why this book gets so much hate. A lot of people online say that this is the worst Dark Tower book, and they rank it as the lowest. I don't know why it gets so much hate. Some people really just dislike this book. I don't think this is the worst one. I actually thought, I know people may disagree, but I thought the first one was the worst. But I don't know why it gets so much hate. I'm not saying it's fabulous, as you'll see my rating in just a sec. But I don't know why it gets so much hate, because, it does nothing remarkable, but it does nothing terrible either. So I don't know why it gets so much hate. Anyway, let me give you my rating for it. I always rate my books on a scale of 0 to 10, with a 0 being awful and a 10 being phenomenal. Like, make that your next read. And a 5 is average. Again, 0 awful, 10 is phenomenal, and a 5 is average. Very few reach it to the 10 category, just as very few reach it to the 0 category, because again, a 5 is average. You should know that I am a very tough critic, that it's hard to even move up 0.5 in my ratings. So, the rating I would give this book is, I would give this book a 6, which, again, a 5 is average, so that shows that it's definitely above average. And it's, in my rating system, that's a decent amount above average, because I'm a tough critic, to where it's hard to move up 1 point. But I would definitely give this book a 6, and it would be a solid 6. I almost rated it 6.5. It was close to getting 6.5, but it's like, when I wrote some of the stuff down, it was like, it did nothing remarkable. It didn't do anything remarkable, but it didn't really do anything bad. It didn't do anything terrible. Like some of the other books that I've read of his, or even some of the Dark Towers, like Dark Tower 4, some of it I was bored, but other parts were so amazing. And that's where this one was different. It was more consistent, but it wasn't anything remarkable. But then again, nothing terrible. So that's why I would rate this book a solid 6, almost 6.5, and my average is a 5, so that is very high in my rating. I recommend you guys continue the path along the beam. If you guys have any comments or disagreements, please comment below. I hope you guys click the subscribe button. Thank you for watching my book review. This is Mr. V. Enjoy your read.